Today we are digging into some of the most fearsome and frankly mysterious figures in ancient texts, the giants. And as you're about to see, their origin story is way stranger and a whole lot more complex than you might think. All right, let's get right into it. The Bible is just filled with these references to giant clans, beings that could strike terror into the hearts of entire armies. The stories are legendary, right? But the big question has always been, what is their origin? Where did these incredible beings actually come from?
So our story really kicks off on the ground, with one of the most famous encounters in the whole text. Remember when the Israelite spies were sent to check out the land of Canaan? Well, they came back, but not with stories of milk and honey. Oh no, they came back with a report of pure, absolute terror.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The psychological impact here is just, wow. This isn't just about facing a bigger, stronger opponent. This is about feeling like a completely different, insignificant species, to feel like an insect. This one line just perfectly captures the kind of dread these giants inspired. So you have to ask, where in the world do beings that could make seasoned warriors feel like grasshoppers even come from? Well, to find that answer, we have to look beyond the main narrative, to an incredible and much older backstory that is literally out of this world.
Yeah, a huge source for this wild origin story is an ancient text called the Book of Enoch. Now, for most, it's not part of the official biblical canon, but it describes this incredibly dramatic event that happened long before those spies ever set foot in Canaan. And it gives us, well, the missing piece of the whole puzzle.
According to the Book of Enoch, it all began with this number, 200. That was the number of celestial beings who gathered on the top of Mount Hermon and swore a forbidden pact. A pact that was about to change human history forever.
And these 200 beings, they were known as the Watchers. Their whole job was basically to observe humanity from a distance. But led by a high-ranking angel named Samyaza, they decided, nah, we're done with that. They abandoned their posts, came down to Earth, took human wives, and had children. And that was their first great sin.
But their rebellion didn't stop there. Not even close. The Watchers didn't just have children. They also brought with them secrets from heaven, knowledge that humanity was never supposed to have, and it completely, and I mean completely, reshaped civilization. Just look at this breakdown. It's wild. Samyaza, the ringleader, he taught sorcery and enchantments. Another one, Azazel, taught humanity how to make weapons, swords, shields, and even introduced cosmetics. Kokabeel revealed the secrets of astrology, and Penemu, he taught the game-changing art of writing with ink and paper.
I mean, the shift this caused was just staggering. Before the Watchers, you had a pretty basic, primitive society. Afterwards, you've got advanced metallurgy, sophisticated sorcery, and written history. They kicked off this massive technological and cultural leap, but believe me, it came at a terrible, terrible price.
Which brings us right back to our giants. You see, the children born from these unions between the Watchers and human women, they were the very first generation of giants, the Nephilim. And they, in turn, became the ancestors of all those different giant clans that we read about in the Bible.
And we're not talking about just a few isolated individuals here. These were entire tribes that dominated the land. You had the Anakim, the same ones who terrified the spies. The Emim, whose name literally means terrors. How's that for a reputation? Then the Zamzumim, or mutterers, and of course the Rephaim, the clan of the famous giant King Og.
Okay. So let's zoom in a little. We've talked about the clans, but now let's move to some specific named individuals, because this is where the almost unbelievable scale of these beings gets personal and very, very real.
Get this, King Og of Bashan, he's described as the last of the Rephaim. The text doesn't give us his exact height, but it gives us something even better, the size of his iron bed, 13.5 feet long. Just try to imagine the creature that would need a bed that big.
And then, of course, there's the most famous giant of them all, Goliath of Gath, a Philistine champion standing at a jaw-dropping 9 feet 9 inches tall. He wore scale armor that weighed 125 pounds. He was basically a walking, talking battle tank. But maybe the most unsettling description of all belongs to an unnamed giant that David's men ran into. The text just calls him a man of great stature. But then it adds this one bizarre, chilling detail. He had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot,
a physical mark of his otherworldly and unnatural heritage.
So from a celestial rebellion on a single mountaintop, you get forbidden knowledge in a whole lineage of giants that terrorized the ancient world. It really leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? How are we supposed to understand these stories today? Are they just myths, distorted memories of battles against really tall enemy tribes? Or maybe, are they something else entirely? Ancient warnings, perhaps, about the dangers of power and knowledge falling into the wrong hands. The texts themselves, well, they leave that for us to decide.